So, hi everyone, good morning. So, today's 5th of May 2026, and we'll start with the most anticipated news headline for the day. And so, this anticipated news headline is basically about the results which has been recently announced by the Election Commission of India ऑन 4 मई 2026। अब ये इलेक्शन के रिजल्ट्स हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाते हैं, अकेडमिकली भी हमारे लिए रिलेवेंट है और थोड़ा सा सोशल पर्सपेक्टिव के डिस्कशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी हमारे लिए ये इक्वली रिलेवेंट है, राइट। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द डिस्कशन नाउ। सो तमिलनाडु में द रिजल्ट्स आर क्वाइट शॉकिंग। और हम ऐसा क्यों कह रहे हैं द रिजल्ट्स आर शॉकिंग? बिकॉज एक नई पॉलिटिकल पार्टी ऑल टुगेदर केम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस and it has left a major impact on the पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ तमिलनाडु। और हम बात कर रहे हैं टीवी के तमिलगा वेत्रम वेत्री कजगम। द फाउंडर ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी इज एक्टर विजय, जिनको 107 सीट्स मिली हैं। फर्स्ट टाइम इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट कर रहे थे, 2 साल पहले पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का रजिस्ट्रेशन हुआ था। नाउ ही हैज सिक्योर्ड मोस्ट नंबर ऑफ सीट्स इन तमिलनाडु, डिफीटिंग डीएमके एंड एआईएडीएमके, राइट। देन इन केरला, केरला में तो कांग्रेस और उनके जो अलाइड पार्टीज हैं दे विल फॉर्म द गवर्नमेंट। नाउ द मोस्ट अनदर शॉकिंग रिजल्ट इज कमिंग ऑल टुगेदर all the way from West Bengal, where BJP has secured 206 सीट्स आउट ऑफ 293। क्योंकि एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी के जो इलेक्शंस हैं उनको कैंसिल करके इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने, इट हैज बीन रीशेड्यूल्ड टू 23rd ऑफ मई 2026। फाल्ता कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी के जो इलेक्शंस हैं उनको इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने पोस्टपोन कर दिया, उनको कैंसिल कर दिया था, क्योंकि वहां पर काफी पोलिंग बूथ्स पर ऐसा हुआ था कि जो बीजेपी का जो सिंबल था उस पर टेपिंग कर दी गई थी। सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर रीजन द इलेक्शंस हैव बीन कैंसल्ड और वो वापस से 23rd ऑफ मई को रीशेड्यूल कर दिए गए। बट the best part, or the you can say the interesting part about these elections, is that the BJP has secured 206 सीट्स आउट ऑफ 293, टोटल 294 सीट्स है। एक सीट पे इलेक्शंस को रीशेड्यूल कर दिया गया और पहली बार फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ वेस्ट बंगाल भारतीय जनता पार्टी विल फॉर्म द गवर्नमेंट। एंड द सेकेंड मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट इज दैट Mamta Banerjee, who was contesting the election from Bhawanipur, has been defeated, and she was defeated by Suvendu Adhikari. Then in Assam it was a one-way traffic. Again Bharatiya Janata Party has formed the government, and in Puducherry as well NDA was able to form the government. So basically these elections have given a lot of hope to the Bharatiya Janata Party, as they were able to form the government in West Bengal, and also they have secured seats in Kerala, 3 seats they have secured, and also in Tamil Nadu their vote share has not, I mean their number of seats have not increased, but they have performed substantially well in Tamil Nadu as well. So a lot of people are relating the outcomes to various things, like that special intensive revision played a very important role, and then the huge voter turnout. So altogether there are multiple factors which are involved, and we can discuss about those factors, but academically and for your examination there is no point to discuss all those news items, so we'll be skipping those news items. But again, remember this, that West Bengal has given a very big relief to Bharatiya Janata Party, specifically 206 seats, क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी was fighting these elections with utmost vigor, so they needed to win these elections, and ultimately all the predictions came true. किसी ने भी 206 seats predict नहीं की थी, but again it is absolutely fine. Now moving on to the next part of this news item. Now, so today the most maximum part of today's newspaper is all about elections and the results which were announced by the Election Commission of India. But in that context we have a very important article in the text and context section, and it is related to model code of conduct. And before that we have 2 more articles. The first one is related to the Persons with Disabilities Act, and the second one is related to Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Amendment Act 2026. So we will have a very small discussion about those 2 articles. Now you will see the kind of work or the kind of promises which were being made by actor Vijay outsmart or those promises, and also an anti-incumbency was there. So those two things played a very important role in outsmarting DMK and AIADMK. And now Mr. MK Stalin was also defeated. So if the sitting chief minister is defeated, then you can understand the amount of anti-incumbency which was prevailing. And so it will give them a lot of hope that how to approach इन द फ्यूचर इलेक्शंस. और साउथ के इलेक्शंस में हम जब भी बात करें तो एक्टर एक्ट्रेसेस प्ले अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. I hope I am audible and I am absolutely able to explain myself in the best possible way. So right now we'll move to the next important article. You will see all these articles where the workers or the supporters of these political parties are celebrating the huge wins of their particular पार्टी जिनको वो सपोर्ट कर रहे थे. फिर पुडुचेरी में नथिंग चेंज्ड, एनडीए विल रिटेन the seat. And also in Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma will again take oath as the next chief minister of Assam. And this was also expected that Mr. Sharma was quite sure about the results, and he already predicted that कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी will secure these many seats, and और वो उस चीज को एग्जीक्यूट करने में सक्सेसफुल भी होते हैं. अब आप ये बहुत सारा जो इसमें डेटा दिया गया, don't try to mug up all these data sets which are given, these different kind of tables which are given. You don't have to do that. You just focus on one thing, that if there is something specifically related to the powers of the Election Commission of India or any specific section from the Representation of Peoples Act 1950 and 51, if those things have been discussed in the newspaper, then you might have a glance at those things. Otherwise you don't have to mug up all the data set which has been given. It will eventually consume a lot of your memory and will leave you with nothing substantial. Now rural sweep, urban gains hand BJP a decisive win over Trinamool Congress. So students, let's understand the political dynamics of West Bengal. So in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee was the chief minister since 2011, and before that it was Communist Party of India. Now it is happening for the first time in India post independence that no single state has the government of any left party. So left is totally outsmart in India. Now there is not a single state which had the government of left, right? Sorry, communist government. There is no communist government in India at this point of time. Kerala was the last state where communist government was there, but now in Kerala, Congress successfully defeated the existing government led by Pinarayi Vijayan. But when we talk about West Bengal, anti-incumbency was there, and a lot of issues were not properly addressed by the current government, and which eventually led to the fall of Mamata Banerjee. And the situation became so worse that Mamata Banerjee was unable to retain his own constituency, and she was defeated by Suvendu Adhikari for the second time. For the first time, she was defeated by Suvendu Adhikari in 2021 from Nandigram, and now in 2026, she was defeated by again Suvendu Adhikari, who is the most, who is at number one in the race of the next chief minister of West Bengal. And this is a quite setback for Mamata Banerjee, because she was not expecting that she won't be able to save her own seat. Then there were the mother of this uh, victim of the RG Kaur Medical Hospital has also had won her seat. So बहुत सारा positive outcome भी है, बहुत सारे positive outlook भी है. But again, you have to give credit to the entire decision making and how Bharatiya Janata Party prepared for these elections, because they were pretty sure that somehow we will have required number of seats and we will outsmart Mamata Banerjee in the upcoming election. Mamata Banerjee was quite sure that nothing will happen and she will eventually form the government, right? Out of 294 seats, 293 seats के elections के result announce किए गए, जिसमें से 206 seats were taken by the Bharatiya Janata Party, forming the government with absolutely staggering majority, right? And so Bharatiya Janata Party was doing a lot of hard work in West Bengal. They, somehow uh, executed their plans in the best possible way. Left front's electoral debacle in Kerala holds a valuable lesson for the winners. Now, so I mean, in every state, if you look at the elections or the results which have just came out yesterday, or which were announced by the Election Commission of India, it actually gives you a very clear picture कि politics में कभी भी कुछ भी हो सकता है. No one can claim that this is permanent. कल के रिजल्ट्स हमें सीधी सी यही बात बताते हैं. एम के स्टालिन सिटिंग चीफ मिनिस्टर थे, was unable to save his seat. ममता बनर्जी was unable to save her seat. टीवी के जो 2 साल पहले पॉलिटिकल पार्टी फॉर्म हुई वो सबसे बड़ी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी बने इन तमिलनाडु. देन अगेन इन वेस्ट बंगाल 206 सीट्स. नो वन वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट बीजेपी विल गेट 206 सीट्स. Now this article, right? So in the editorial section as well, you will find two articles. One is related to the journal philosophy of the elections that have taken place in 4 states and Puducherry. Then the next article was specifically focusing on one thing, and that thing was how Tamil Nadu have changed the entire fate of these elections, right? So let's start with the discussion now. So we'll read first passage and then we'll read the journal philosophy, that how the Bharatiya Janata Party specifically, was centered around a few very important policies जिनको जिस पे उन्होंने काफी ज्यादा अपना campaigning था उसको उन्होंने एकदम centered रखा. Now the phase of Indian politics since 2014 has been widely termed the fourth party system, with the Bharatiya Janata Party constituting a dominant pole that increasingly structures the field of competition at both the national and state levels. Some observers have periodically asked whether the BJP dominant system represents a durable structural dominance or a more fleeting electoral dominance, largely built on and sustained by the charismatic leadership of Narendra Modi. These round of state elections in Assam, West Bengal, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry should settle the question in favor of structural dominance. The setback received by the National Democratic Alliance in the 2024 general election suggested that Mr. Modi's charismatic appeal had scaled over the previous decade, yet the BJP has performed much better in the phase elections between 2024-26 than it did either in 2014-16 when Mr. Modi's carried the transformative aura of the Vikash Purush, or in 2019-21 when he became the pro-poor Masiha, embodying an unmatched reservoir of popular trust. So basically the author of this article is trying to say that although BJP received a setback in the general elections of 2024, yet 2024 के बाद जितने भी स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज के इलेक्शंस हुए हैं वहां पर बीजेपी कंपैरेटिवली काफी अच्छा परफॉर्म करती है इफ वी कंपेयर द सेम टाइम पीरियड विद द डिकेड अगो. हम अगर 2014 से 16 वाला जो टाइम पीरियड है उससे अगर कंपेयर करें 2024 से 26 वाला जो टाइम पीरियड है तो बीजेपी ने काफी बेहतर परफॉर्म किया है. एंड द मेन रीजन for this is that Bharatiya Janata Party understood that we have certain boxes which are still unticked. So Bharatiya Janata Party worked on each and everything, and the ground level outreach programs are very well structured, and the party is getting the benefit of the same, right? Then of course Mr. Modi's leadership remains important in terms of his ability to direct and manage the machinery of the system of power, but it is a sprawling machinery itself involving the close nexus of party organizations, wider Sangh networks, big industrial houses and key state institutions, which drives the juggernaut of the BJP dominant system. So I mean these are the points which you about which you may have a lot of discussion, that how the sitting government or the union government is using state machineries. I mean that's something which all the political parties in power has done before. So I mean specifically targeting one political party will not solve the purpose. But again हमारा काम है academic discussion करना. फिर यहाँ पे किस तरीके से राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हेल्प की, ग्राउंड वर्क पे उन्होंने या ग्राउंड आउटरीच प्रोग्राम जो थे उसमें राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ ने किस तरीके से हेल्प की, और उसके बाद मुस्लिम्स का भी सपोर्ट इस बार काफी मिला भारतीय जनता पार्टी को, विच हैज बीन डिस्कस्ड इन द न्यूज़पेपर इन द entire article. So you may read this article again. It is for your political understanding to understand that how actually politics works in a comprehensive environment like India, where people are, absolutely, uh, they love this entire process of election. जब से elections announce होते हैं और जब तक result आ नहीं जाता है, people in India are absolutely in love with this entire process. And now the now the results are announced, so we can understand that how things will move from this particular point of time. Capitalizing on changing Tamil voters mood. Now Joseph Vijay's Tamilaga Vetri Kajigam has established its popularity and stands to emerge as the single largest party in 2026 Tamil Nadu state legislative assembly elections. Clearly, voters decided to give up on DMK and AIADMK and choose to go with this newcomer. His bravado is not seeking an alliance with other parties, and going it alone has won the day. Equally, Mr. Vijay was ready to be Tamil in his own way, but he also spoke and did politics in a manner that would appeal to untutored and ingenuine voters, evident in his road shows and his one-liners. Spectacle and banality have prevailed against old-style political tendiousness and rhetoric. So basically, the author of this article, Mrs. V. Geeta, is trying to point out something which is very important. That although the situation in Kerala was, situation in Tamil Nadu was not so predictable. Everybody was thinking that there would be tough fight between DMK and AIADMK, and TVK, Tamilaga Vetri Kajigam, might play a very important role in the formation of the government. But not except a few political analysts, nobody was sure that Tamilaga Vetri Kajigam, a political party which was established just 2 years back, will play or will become the single largest party with 107 seats. Now the majority mark is at 118. So still Tamilaga Vetri Kajigam needs 11 member of legislative assembly to form the government, but we can actually see that this is a victory for the founder of TVK, Joseph Vijay, because you have defeated uh, masterminds like MK Stalin, right? A party which was constituted just 2 years back was successful in defeating the current chief minister of Tamil Nadu. That actually tells you the aura of the founder of TVK. Now, the author is also trying to stress upon a very important point, that though the Tamil voters have changed their mood, they voted for TVK. Now it is totally upon the Tamilaga Vetri Kajigam that how this particular political party will work according to the mood of Tamil voters, because yet mood is something which is very a dynamic concept. It can change at any point of time, and in India people get chance after every 5 years to express their willingness, right? Now so this is again, now again this is Modi, Prime Minister Modi urges all parties in Bengal to focus on positive change and not revenge. So basically, BJP has given a hint कि हम अब बहुत पॉजिटिव पॉलिटिक्स वेस्ट बंगाल में हमारा रहने वाला है. हम रिवेंज मूड में बिल्कुल नहीं रहेंगे कि 2011 से लेकर के 2026 के बीच में जिस तरीके से तृणमूल कांग्रेस ने ट्रीट किया था भारतीय जनता पार्टी और उनके सपोर्टर्स को, वो उस अप्रोच को कंटिन्यू नहीं करेंगे. और वो बेसिकली किस चीज पर टारगेट करेंगे? दे विल टारगेट मोर ऑन द डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स ऑफ वर्क और डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ वर्क जो किए जा सकते हैं वेस्ट बंगाल के लोगों के लिए, राइट? सो दिस इज अगेन अ वेरी, यू मे से दैट अ वेरी absurd point to discuss, तो हम इसको नहीं करेंगे. Now these are multiple articles which are very important. So the first one is Supreme Court weighs risk of misuse of benefits for trans people. Now अभी हमें थोड़ा सा जो highlighted portion है इसके एक brief reading कर लेते हैं, then we can move to the next part. Now the Supreme Court on Monday flagged that danger of those masquerading as transgender persons to get welfare benefits while hearing multiple petitions challenging a law that removes the right to self-perceived identification. The Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Amendment Act 2026 requires a government appointed medical board favorable recommendation for a district magistrate to certify an individual as a transgender person. The petitioner said the act disregards transgender identity as an authentic human identity freely chosen and violates their right. Now, we'll have this entire discussion 2014 से लेकर के नालसा वाला जो जजमेंट था. Does it not pose a danger that there are people who would masquerade this qualification for grabbing reservation or privileges? Senior advocate Abhishek Manu Singhvi, appearing for the petitioner, said the danger of people faking transgender identity to secure benefits was hardly 0.001%. The court issued notice to the center and the states on the pleas, noting that the question of staying the act did not arise as the law had not yet been notified. So now we have to understand one thing, that on 13th of May 2026, this particular bill was introduced in, on 13th March 2026, the Union government introduced the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Amendment 2026 bill in the Lok Sabha, and eventually this bill was passed by both the houses of the parliament, and ultimately the President of India gave assent to this particular bill, and now this particular bill has become an act. But at the same time, the Union of India has not notified the act, which means that this bill is yet to be, this act is yet to be enforced, right? We are still waiting for the approval or for the notification. But the point which has been discussed by the Supreme Court, because see, in 2014 the Supreme Court of India delivered a very popular judgment in the case of NALSA, National Legal Services Authority versus Union of India. In this particular judgment, the Supreme Court of India laid down multiple guidelines related to the protection of transgender person and the identity of transgender person, right? And somehow the Supreme Court of India also recognized the right to self perceived identity. Then in 2019, after 5 years, the union government framed an act which was known as the Transgender Person Protection of Rights Act 2019. Protection of Rights Act 2019. Now the Parliament of India or the Union government incorporated the guidelines which were issued by the Supreme Court of India in NALSA versus Union of India. डायरेक्टली उनको क्या क्या इनकॉर्पोरेट कर लिया 2019 वाले एक्ट में. और इसी एक्ट में बेसिकली ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन को एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट राइट दिया गया स्टूडेंट्स, एंड दैट राइट वाज राइट टू सेल्फ perceived identity. And what is right to self perceived identity? Let's take one example. Suppose if I identify, as per the 2019 act, if I identify myself as a transgender person, then I don't need to obtain any kind of certificate from any medical board or from any district magistrate to prove myself that yes, I am a transgender person. My only recognition that I recognize myself as a transgender person is enough to give me the identity of a transgender person. This was the position in the act of 2019, but this position was changed by the union government in the amendment of 2026, where the union government laid down 4-5 criteria कि अगर कोई particular person जो claim कर रहा है that he or she is a transgender person, और they, he, she, they pronouns multiple है, तो तभी जब वो उन क्राइटेरियाज को फुलफिल करेंगे तभी उनको ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन का स्टेटस मिलेगा, right? So this was something which was which made things very difficult for the entire transgender community, right? And to ensure that those criterias are specifically fulfilled, the union government created a very relatable concept of medical board. And what is the concept of medical board? So basically, I'll give my example again. Suppose if I want the benefits which a transgender person is entitled to get, then first I have to file an application with the district magistrate. Once the district magistrate receives the application from the applicant, the district magistrate will send the particular person to a medical board, and then that medical board will certify whether that particular person is fulfilling the criteria which are given under the 2026 Act. And that certificate, sorry, the recommendations of the medical board will be then transferred to the district magistrate, and if the district magistrate is satisfied with the report of the medical board, then the district magistrate can proceed with the report of the medical board, or if it requires any further medical assistance, then it can obtain further medical assistance as well. Now in this entire concept, the main change which was introduced by the union government was the introduction of the medical board. Now section 2 clause 2 subclause AA, I'll be very specific. So section 2 clause 2 clause subclause AA, 2 clause 2 subclause AA talks about the authority, definition of authority. और अथॉरिटी की डेफिनेशन में यहाँ पे किसको इंक्लूड किया गया है? अथॉरिटी की डेफिनेशन में यहाँ पर इंक्लूड किया गया है मेडिकल बोर्ड. और मेडिकल बोर्ड को हेड कौन करेगा? सो द हेड ऑफ द मेडिकल बोर्ड वुड बी चीफ मेडिकल ऑफिसर, सीएमओ, और डिप्टी चीफ मेडिकल ऑफिसर appointed by central or state government. The medical board will always be headed by chief medical officer or deputy chief medical officer appointed by the central or the state government. Whereas section 5 clause 2 lays down the process of filing the application. So these are two relevant sections which are related to the filing of application with the district magistrate, and further the definition of medical board. So in the current context, the Supreme Court of India has asked a very valid question that जो लोग masquerade कर रहे हैं आइडेंटिटी, जो एक्चुअली में ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन नहीं है बट वो ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन है ऐसा वो दुनिया को दिखा रहा है, तो क्या उनके लिए इजी नहीं होगा उन क्राइटेरियाज को फुलफिल करना जो 2026 के अमेंडमेंट में ले डाउन किए गए? दिस वाज द क्वेश्चन व्हिच वाज आस्क्ड बाय द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया. राइट, अभी ये थोड़ा सा हॉश पॉश हो गया. फ्रॉम टुमारो ऑनवर्ड्स विल ट्राई टू राइट इट ऑन अ सेपरेट शीट, व्हाइट शीट, सो वी कैन हैव अ क्लियर पिक्चर. राइट, so this is something which we have to understand. Now one more interesting thing about this particular act is that now this entire act has been challenged, but the Supreme Court of India has said that we cannot take the concrete step at this point of time because this particular act has not been notified by the union government. It is yet to be notified. So once the act is notified, then the Supreme Court of India can take up the petitions regarding the validity of the 2026 amendment, because somehow it is overriding the judgment given by the Supreme Court of India in 2014, which was Nalsa versus Union of India, जिसमें Supreme Court ने right to self-perceived identity को क्या किया था? Recognize किया था. Right, now then we have the next important article, and पहले हम इसको डिस्कस कर लेते हैं, फिर हम ये जो बीच में आर्टिकल है इसको हम बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे. स्टूडेंट्स, अब ये जो हमारे लिए आर्टिकल है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ब्रिंग्स सर्वाइवर्स ऑफ फोर्सिबल इंजेक्शन ऑफ एसिड्स इन Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016. So why we are discussing this particular article? Because of a very sensitive petition which was filed by a person in the Supreme Court of India, and the title of this case जिसमें Supreme Court ने ये ruling announce किया, तो हम उसके title के बारे में भी थोड़ा सा discuss कर लेते हैं. The title of this particular case was शाहीन मलिक, शाहीन मलिक versus Union of India. So in Shaheen Malik versus Union of India, a division bench of the Supreme Court, a division bench of the Supreme Court. अब डिवीजन बेंच का मतलब है दो जज थे इस बेंच में, और दो जज कौन कौन से थे? सो जस्टिस, चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया जस्टिस सूर्यकांत एंड जस्टिस ज्योमला बागची. Judgment was pronounced by the Supreme Court of India on 4th of May 2026, and the Supreme Court of India utilized the powers given under Article 142 to deliver verdict in this particular case. And what is Article 142, students? So Article 142 is very important for all the law entrance examinations in India, and Article 142 is simply the power of the Supreme Court to do complete justice. To do complete justice. Now the point that we have to understand कि अभी तक कौन से लोग ऐसे एसिड अटैक विक्टिम्स होते थे जिनको राइट टू पर्सन्स विद डिसेबिलिटीज एक्ट 2026 के अंडर उन्हें डिसेबल पर्सन कंसीडर किया जाता था, और कौन से ऐसे स्पेसिफिक कैटेगरी ऑफ पर्सन थे जिनको कंसीडर नहीं किया जाता था अंडर द राइट ऑफ पर्सन्स विद डिसेबिलिटीज एक्ट 2016 के अंदर. The Supreme Court on Monday included persons who were forcibly administered acid with the definition of acid attack victims under the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016. The 2016 law recognized only victims of acid throwing and not forcible acid ingestion. It accepted both the act of acid throwing and administration of acid as offense punishable with imprisonment from 10 years to a life sentence under the section 124 voluntary causing grievous hurts. So basically section 124 of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which is voluntary causing grievous hurt. So basically अभी तक जिन लोगों पर एसिड अटैक होता था, मतलब जिसके ऊपर एसिड फेंक दिया जाता था कि बॉटल में कोई एसिड लेकर के आया और किसी के ऊपर एसिड फेंक दिया गया, सिर्फ इन्हीं लोगों को एसिड अटैक का विक्टिम कंसीडर किया जाता था. बट अगर किसी को फोर्सिबली किसी को अबडक्ट किया गया, किसी विक्टिम को, और उसको ऊपर जबरदस्ती उसको एसिड से जला दिया गया या उसको जबरदस्ती एसिड कंज्यूम करने के लिए मजबूर किया गया, so these victims were not considered as the victim of acid attack under the Right of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016. But the Supreme Court of India gave a very strong logic, and the logic was that if we talk about the punitive nature of both categories, एक जिसमें किसी पर एसिड अटैक किया गया बाय थ्रोइंग द एसिड, एंड सेकेंड वन इज द इंजेक्शन ऑफ एसिड, जिसमें किसी को जबरदस्ती एसिड पिला दिया गया. इन बोथ द कैटेगरीज, फॉर बोथ द कैटेगरीज द पनिशमेंट इज सिमिलर, which is the punishment is 10 years, which is extendable to the life imprisonment. So if the punishment for both the offenses are same, then why a different kind of treatment is given to the both to the both kind of victims? अगर punishment same है तो right of persons with disabilities act 2016 के अंदर इतना indifferentiated treatment क्यों मिलता है? This was the logic of the Supreme Court of India, and which was totally gettable. So now the Supreme Court of India has said कि both the categories of victims जिन पर एसिड अटैक किया गया throwing the acid, या जिनको forcefully administer किया गया इंजेक्शन के लिए एसिड को, उन दोनों कैटेगरीज के विक्टिम्स को अब राइट ऑफ पर्संस विद डिसेबिलिटीज एक्ट 2016 के अंडर विक्टिम ऑफ एसिड अटैक ही कंसीडर किया जाएगा. एंड ऑल्सो द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, and this is the most important one. This particular ruling of the Supreme Court of India will have retrospective effect. रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट का मतलब क्या है? इट्स वेरी सिंपल कि 2016 से लेकर के, इट्स वेरी सिंपल, सिंस 2016 जितने भी विक्टिम्स ऐसे हैं जिनको फोर्सफुली एसिड इंजेक्शन के लिए मजबूर किया गया, each and every victim will be considered under right of persons with disabilities act 2016. रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव का मतलब होता है बैक डेट से जाकर के किसी पर्टिकुलर लॉ को इंप्लीमेंट करना, right? So this particular judgment of the Supreme Court of India, which was delivered in Shaheen Malik versus Union of India, will have retrospective effect, which means that both the categories of victims which upon which the acid was thrown, and the victims which were forced to force for the ingestion of acid, will be considered as the victim of acid attack and will have similar kind of relief under Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act. And to deliver this verdict, the Honorable Supreme Court of India use the powers given under Article 142. And what is Article 142? The power of that the Supreme Court of India can pass any order or decree in order to ensure complete justice, right? So this is this is about Shaheen Malik versus Union of India. सो बेसिकली अभी ये क्या है कि एक पिटिशन फाइल हुआ था सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया में कि इलेक्शंस हो जाने के बाद भी जो लॉ इन्फोर्समेंट फोर्सेस हैं वहां पे सीआईएसएफ वगैरह और सॉरी सीआरपीएफ वगैरह की जो कंपनीज हैं उनको पोस्ट इलेक्शन चीज़ों को मैनेज करने के लिए, एक पीसफुल सिचुएशन के लिए उन्हें वेस्ट बंगाल में रोक करके रखना चाहिए. उनका डिप्लॉयमेंट अभी भी वेस्ट बंगाल में अभी कुछ दिनों तक रहना चाहिए. बट सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोल दिया है कि दिस थिंग वुड बी डिसाइडेड बाय द पॉलिटिकल एग्जीक्यूटिव्स. मतलब ये जो पॉलिटिकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स हैं वो डिसाइड करेंगे कि वेस्ट बंगाल में अभी जो सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस हैं वो कितने दिनों तक रहेंगे. दिस इज नॉट द डोमेन ऑफ द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया बिकॉज अब यहां पर हम एक स्टैटिक का पार्ट बहुत अच्छे से डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. सो बेसिकली इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया Schedule 7 talks about the principle of federalism, which is division of power between center and state. This is the basic principle which is given in the Schedule 7, and further Schedule 7 talks about 3 lists, and these 3 lists are list 1, list 2 and list 3. List 1 is basically union list, those items on which only the union government can make laws. Second one is a state list, items upon which only the state government is empowered to make the laws. And concurrent list, both center and state government are empowered to make the laws, right? So these are the 3 lists which are available under the Schedule 7, which is federalism, division of power between center and state, union, state and concurrent list. Now the Supreme Court of India has said law and order is a state subject, so it is upon the state government to decide whether further deployment of security forces is needed in West Bengal or not. So this is a very well reasoned judgment given by the Supreme Court of India. So now after this we can move to the next point. You guys are actually late. The class will every day now the class will start at 8. Shh. Right, so just give me a minute. और मेरा शुभ नाम अभय सिंह है. माय नेम इज इररिलेवेंट, राइट? शेक्सपियर ने बहुत पहले बोला था ना नाम में क्या रखा है. नाम नहीं काम देखो. Right. See, now moving on to this article, text and context. Model code of conduct. So what happened that recently the Parliament of India convened a session to have a discussion around 131st Constitutional Amendment Bill and Delimitation Bill 2026. Now the point was very simple that first 131st Constitutional Amendment Bill was related to providing 33% reservation to women in the Lok Sabha and State Legislative Assembly, and Delimitation Bill 2026 was purely about one specific thing, and that thing was that the next delimitation would be conducted as per the census of 2011. अब जब 131st Constitutional Amendment Bill could not pass a litmus test in the Lok Sabha, could not get the required number of votes in the Lok Sabha, and after that, the Prime Minister of our country, 2 days after the voting took place, Pradhan Mantri of India, Prime Minister of India, वो मन की बात करने के लिए वो लाइव 8:30 पर आते हैं और वो कंट्री को एड्रेस करते हैं और उसमें वो ऑपोजिशन को रिस्पॉन्सिबल ठहराते हैं 131st कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट बिल पास ना होने के लिए. वो बहुत सारी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के बारे में डिस्कशन करते हैं, लैक ऑफ इंटेंट फ्रॉम द पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, इन सारी चीजों की वो बात करते हैं इस मन की बात की सेशन में. एंड इंटरेस्टिंगली जब उन्होंने ये मन की बात की तब मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट इंप्लीमेंट हो चुका था ऑलरेडी, क्योंकि वेस्ट बंगाल में इलेक्शंस होने बाकी थे. Now, after that, multiple political parties wrote a letter to the Election Commission of India that this is the sheer violation of model code of conduct, and this violation was done by none other than the Prime Minister of our country, Mr. Narendra Modi. Right? So now, the title of this article will tell you a lot about the content of this article, and the title is Did the Prime Minister did the PM's broadcast violate the model code of conduct? So first let's understand what is model code of conduct, then we'll see whether the Prime Minister have violated model code of conduct or not. So model code of conduct is nothing. Model code of conduct is nothing but it is a set of comprehensive guidelines. Set of comprehensive guidelines to conduct the elections in a fair and smooth manner. These are basically the set of comprehensive guidelines. कुछ नहीं है, सिर्फ आप इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया की वेबसाइट पर जाकर के अगर मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, यू विल फाइंड नथिंग बट अ पीडीएफ व्हिच हैज 7-8 पॉइंट्स एंड दैट इज ऑल मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट. सो इट इज द सेट ऑफ comprehensive guidelines. Now when we talk about any particular policy of the union government, one of the most important premise of that policy of the government is that particular policy is backed by any law or it is backed by any statute. So this is the first major flaw with the model code of conduct, that it is or it has no statutory backing. It has no statutory backing. Matlab there is no specific law passed by the union government to back model code of conduct. It is basically enforced by the Election Commission of India. So although there is no statutory backing, but the objective of model code of conduct is to have free and fair elections. So by using this particular logic, we can derive or we can inferred that Article 324. And what is Article 324? Article 324 empowers the Election Commission of India to conduct the elections in the free and fair manner. To conduct the elections in free and fair manner, right? So this is something which we have to understand, that although there is no legal backing, but somehow there is a moral backing which comes from Article 324, because Article 324 also empowers the Election Commission of India to conduct the elections in free and fair manner, and the objective of Model Code of Conduct is to have uh, have elections in a free and fair manner. Now, Kerala was the first state in India to have something like Model Code of Conduct in 1960. Then in 1979, for the first time, the Election Commission of India issued a very comprehensive and detailed Model Code of Conduct, and finally in 1991, strict implementation was ensured by the Election Commission of India. Now, the next important point related to the Model Code of Conduct, कि Model Code of Conduct का implementation period क्या होता है? So, implementation period is from the date of announcement of schedule to the announcement of result. जिस टाइम पर इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके इलेक्शन का शेड्यूल रिलीज करता है, उसी टाइम पे मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट इन्फोर्स हो जाता है, और ये तब तक चलता है जब तक जर्नल इलेक्शंस या इलेक्शंस के रिजल्ट अनाउंस नहीं हो जाते हैं, राइट? सो इट इज अ स्टैटिक बैकग्राउंड ऑफ द मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट. एक इंपॉर्टेंट जजमेंट भी है, हरबंस सिंह यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया वर्सेस हरबंस सिंह जलाल, 2001 का जजमेंट है, Union of India versus Harbans Singh Jalal, and did in this judgment of the Supreme Court, in this judgment the Supreme Court made it absolutely clear that Model Code of Conduct will be implemented with the announcement of the election schedule, right? So this is the static part. अब हम current aspect में देख लेते हैं कि इसमें क्या क्या चीजें relevant है जो हमें देखनी है. सो ये सारा बैकग्राउंड हम डिस्कस कर चुके हैं, कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव गाइडलाइंस 1979, ये सारी चीजें. अब हम आ जाते हैं द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया इन मोहिंदर सिंह गिल वर्सेस चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर डिस्क्राइब्ड आर्टिकल 324 एज अ रिजर्वर ऑफ पावर दैट. सो बेसिकली article so there is a very common notion that we have to understand. If there is a point related to the elections happening in India and the parliament has not enacted or made any particular law on that point, समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? अगर कोई चीज इलेक्शन से रिलेटेड है और पार्लियामेंट ने उस सब्जेक्ट मैटर पे कोई लॉ नहीं बनाया, so by using the powers given under article 324, the election commission of India can take decisions on that or on those matters as well. इसीलिए देखिए मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट पे कोई लीगल बैकिंग नहीं है, कोई स्टैट्यूटरी बैकिंग नहीं है, दो इट इज इंप्लीमेंटेड बाय द इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया टू इंश्योर कि इलेक्शंस फ्री और फेयर मैनर में हो. द सेम थिंग वाज सेड बाय द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया इन पंजाब एंड हरियाणा हाई कोर्ट इन हरबंस सिंह जलाल वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया. सो उसमें भी वही चीज बोली गई है कि इलेक्शन का जब अनाउंसमेंट होता है तब इंप्लीमेंट हो जाता है और इलेक्शन का जब रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर होता है तब. अब जो 23 अप्रैल को Mr. Modi's address was carried live on Doordarshan TV, Sansad TV, All India Radio. He named 4 opposition parties and urged women voters in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal to punish them at polls on April 23 for defeating 131st constitutional amendment bill in the Lok Sabha. Clause 1A, 1B, and 4 of Part 7 of Model Code of Conduct prohibits the party in power from combining official visits with electioneering, using government machinery or campaign work, and misusing public funded mass media for partisan coverage during the election period. So this is the point that we have to understand, that a specific part of the Model Code of Conduct is clearly is very much clear about one thing, that the sitting party or the ruling party cannot use public funds for electioneering or election campaigning, right? So if the prime minister of our country is criticizing the political parties for not supporting 131st constitutional amendment bill 2026, will it amount to the violation of Model Code of Conduct, as it somehow it involves the usage of public office, right? Then the statute is less flexible than the code. Section 123 clause 3 of the Representation of Peoples Act 1951, as amended in 1961, makes it corrupt practice for a candidate or his agent to appeal to voters on the ground of his religion, race, caste, community, or language. The provision turns on a pronoun his and 5 enumerated nouns. So basically, Section 123 clause 3 of the Representation of Peoples Act 1951 is absolutely clear. Which section? Section 123 clause 3, that no person, no particular political candidate or his agent can use race, caste, community और लैंग्वेज टू सीक द वोट, कि मैं तुम्हारी जाति का हूं, मैं तुम्हारे धर्म का हूं, मैं तुम्हारी कास्ट का हूं, तो मुझे इसलिए वोट दो. You cannot do that. Now, the April 18 broadcast ban on different access gender as a mobilizing category, party affiliation as a target, and the Prime Minister national broadcast on Doordarshan as the medium. So basically, Doordarshan is a state sponsored news channel. So will it amount to the violation of Model Code of Conduct if the Prime Minister of India using Doordarshan to telecast his broadcast, right? So that is also discussed by the author of this article. Then the next point that we have to understand, there is another section which has been discussed, and that is Article 123 clause 7. And what is Article 123 clause 7? Article 123 clause 7 is absolutely clear. Section 123 clause 7 makes it a corrupt practice to obtain or procure the assistance of government servants, including gazetted officers, for the furtherance of a candidate's electoral prospects. The subsection was drafted to deter candidates from pressurizing police and revenue officials into electioneering. The petitioner asked whether its reach extends to public broadcasters and the Prime Minister's office. The petition argued that the use of Doordarshan and Sunset TV along with Prime Minister's office personnel to prepare and disseminate a partisan broadcast falls within the prohibition. Where Section 123 clause 3 focuses on the grounds of an appeal, Section 123 clause 7 turns on who was pressed into service to deliver it. So these are two different propositions, Section 123 clause 3 and 123 clause 7. 123 clause 3 focuses on one important aspect, that what are the different grounds for appeal, कि आपके अपील करने के ग्राउंड क्या है. और सेक्शन 123 क्लॉज 7 एक और इंपॉर्टेंट चीज पर फोकस करता है, और वो चीज क्या है? वो चीज ये है कि जो पर्टिकुलर वायलेशन आपने मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट का किया है, उस मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट के वायलेशन को फैसिलिटेट करने के लिए कितने गवर्नमेंट मशीनरीज ने आपके साथ में कल्यूड किया, या कितने गवर्नमेंट मशीनरीज ने आपका साथ दिया. फिर इसके बाद यूएई पर ईरान ने वापस से अटैक्स को रिज्यूम कर दिया. ओपेक एग्जिट, यूएई ने बोला है कि ओपेक एग्जिट जो है उनका इट वाज अ लॉन्ग टर्म प्लान, क्योंकि उन्होंने 2024 से 27 के बीच में $150 बिलियन अपने इकोनॉमी में इन्वेस्ट किए. $150 बिलियन जस्ट टू इंश्योर कि उनका जो करंट डेली ऑयल प्रोड्यूसिंग कैपेसिटी है वो 3.44 मिलियन बैरल पर डे से 5.00 मिलियन बैरल पर डे हो जाए. बट ओपेक में क्या होता है, व्हेन यू आर द मेंबर ऑफ ओपेक, तो आपका एक कोटा रहता है, यू कैन नॉट गो बियॉन्ड दैट कोटा. इसीलिए यूएई ने ओपेक से एग्जिट किया था. फिर वर्ल्ड सेक्शन में देयर इज नथिंग रिलेवेंट, एंड इन द स्पोर्ट्स सेक्शन देयर इज अ थिंग रिलेटेड टू Formula 1. So the driver of from Mercedes, Kimi Antonelli, has won his third F1 Grand Prix, and it is his opening season. और opening season में ये इनका third Grand Prix है, so it's a kind of achievement for Mr. Kimi. And his team Mercedes, right? So this is all about today's analysis. Please do like the video and drop your suggestions in the comment section. Please keep on making notes. CLAT is an exam which can be cracked with a very comprehensive approach. Stay calm, stay positive, give your best. That's the most important thing. You don't have to worry about anything. Just keep on hustling. Every day try to, get ahead of yourself. Try to be a better version of yourself. Rome was not built in a day. Always remember that Rome was actually not built in a day. So good things always take time. Stay confident, stay healthy, एंड प्लीज़ बहुत पॉजिटिव अप्रोच के साथ में इस एग्ज़ाम को हमें अप्रोच करना है. Nobody knows what will happen on 6th of December 2026, which is the date of CLAT 2027. So if there is something about which nobody is sure, तो हमेशा नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट लेकर के ही क्यों चलना है. थोड़ा सा पॉजिटिव रहिए अपनी प्रिपरेशन के बारे में, अपने एफर्ट्स को लेकर के थोड़ा सा पॉजिटिव रहिए. एंड ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दिस, God is there, and God help those who help themselves. So this is the time when you should start hustling, and you will feel the charm of the Almighty God. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do like the video, and if you have any suggestion, you can drop your suggestions in the comment section. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time. प्लीज आप लोग 8 AM शार्प इस सेशन को स्टार्ट कर दिया करिए, सो दैट बाय 9 AM यू आर एटलीस्ट श्योर कि आपने मिनिमम आपने अपना न्यूज़पेपर तो कवर कर ही लिया है. और हम बेसिकली जो भी न्यूज़ आइटम कवर कर रहे हैं उसमें पूरा स्टैटिक एस्पेक्ट भी हम उसका पूरे तरीके से कवर कर रहे हैं. राइट, सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट टुडेज एनालिसिस. आई विल टेक यू लीव नाउ. थैंक यू सो मच. बाय बाय गाइस, टेक केयर, एंड या दैट्स इट.